and I want to apologize to all of you for what I did. It was very wrong, and I am very sorry. And I hope this apology impresses you, even though my grandmother made me do it and I don't really mean it.
You mean you do mean it?
I mean, I do mean it.
I don't think he means it.
I never in a million years thought I would ever be playing defense for Blitzos' character, but as they say, there's no excluding just from justice, and that is exactly what our IMP boss deserves.
Your Honor, we find the defendant not guilty.
The episode starts off with an altercation where even without getting into the analyzation of Stolas and Blitzo, it's blatantly obvious that Stolas still cares deeply about Blitzo, because if he didn't, all Stolas would simply do is either chant a spell to kick Blitzo out of his mansion again, or simply call in his security crew and have them forcibly escort Blitzo out of the castle.
I was hoping my lack of ha-has in response to the photos you sent would be an indicator I didn't want to talk right now.
Yeah, nice try, dumb bird. You're not fooling anybody. The altercation gets even more stupid when Stolas says this to Blitzo.
Okay, so get your tight feathered ass out of that lawn chair and into the bedroom so I can fuck it.
Wow, poetry. I'm sure such a statement would have had me swooning by now.
Because it literally has.
Want me to fuck your brains out tonight?
Very much so.
All right, but you're keeping quiet or I'm using those bear traps.
Oh, please do.
Also, Stolas, you literally have no right to get on to anybody for their use of sexual language when this is the type of sexual nonsense rambling that you've been berating Blitzo for throughout the entirety of y'all's relationship.
I want to choke on that red of yours, your and lick all of your before taking out your and with more teeth until you're screaming like a fucking baby.
Ah yes, Blitzo. How dare you use verbiage that I've literally had zero problem with, whilst also berating you with this same kind of degrading nonsense tenfold. Jesus, this is like watching Harvey Weinstein try to file a sexual harassment lawsuit. The scenes then continue to further transition to them once again further bickering with Stolas, once again further confirming that he does indeed care about Blitzo by mentioning an invitation to an anti-Blitzo party for all of his exes.
I got an invite to this anti-Blitzo party, an honorary invite for being your freshest ex.
Which again, if he truly wanted nothing to do with Blitz, he wouldn't brag about an invitation to a party like that to his face. All of this is set up to essentially allow Verosika Mayday's entrance, which will further break apart later in this review, but nonetheless, Blitzo then responds with probably one of the most level-headed responses we've seen from his character within the whole show.
Oh, please, everyone hates me for shitty reasons. In the end, everyone's just bitter they couldn't tie this ass down.
Again, I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, Blitzo is kinda right here. Like, no person who isn't obsessed with someone would make it a habit to purposefully set up parties or situations like that, where you end up constantly bringing up an individual's name, as again, if he really is bothering you that much, then simply don't engage with it or just kill him off. Like, why have none of his exes just attempted that? And again, they try to make Blitzo sound like a pompous douchebag by having him break up with his exes due to him not wanting a serious relationship, but again, he's really not. Like, hello, that's how relationships sometimes are. Like, whether you put in all your energy, effort, or desire to have a relationship with another person, at the end of the day, the other party in question has every right to turn down that offer and say, hey, I'm not up for that sort of longevity between us. And that person is completely in their right to do so, because they are also a person within this relationship. Blitzo has every right in a relationship to tell somebody who wants to take it to the next level, hey, I'm not up for that level of commitment, I don't think this bond between us will work anymore, let's end this relationship. And obviously, as the other partner, it's gonna feel like a stab in the heart hearing that sentence, but that's just how relationships sometimes are. And as the other partner, you have to suck it up and move on to greener pastures. So again, Blitzo is completely fine in what he's saying and what he's doing. He's simply practicing his autonomy autonomy, freedom as a partner. Like, writers, were y'all high when you scripted this episode? The scene then rightfully cuts to Blitzo giving a justified taste of his own medicine by talking to him in the same demeaning manner that he's been doing towards Blitzo throughout this entire series.
Waiting for you to realize how good an angry fuck would be right now!
With Stolas then responding by playing the victim game again.
What? I'm tired of this. I'm uncomfortable with how you're speaking to me now.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Gee, Stolas, you don't like Blitzo talking to you in a demeaning and sexual manner? It's almost like you've been doing the exact same thing throughout this entire series. Remember, guys, it's a-okay when I, Stolas, talk towards you in a repetitive, demeaning manner, but don't you dare do the same thing to me. Boo-hoo, cry me a river, Stolas.
You get off to getting plowed by people you look down on!
I don't look down on you.
Stop the cap.
Yes, Blitzo, I totally don't look down on you as a partner. After all, what person who respects their partner would repeatedly call them demeaning names when repeatedly told to stop?
Especially that sexy little one there. Yoo-hoo, Blitzy.
Oh, fuck me.
My darling Blitzy.
Just say my name right, fucking dick!
I got you right where I want you. Go ahead, say cheese.
As well as me sexually harassing you whilst on the job in front of my own daughter's vicinity.
You are so cute when you are serious. You know, it's quite thrilling to see you on the job, Blitzy.
Save it, bitch, I'm working.
You both need to get a room.
My, what good aim you have, Blitzy.
The best part about this is when Stolas actually tries to press Blitzo about his argument.
How many times do I... When have I ever... You speak just like that vile striker friend of yours.
Bro for real realized, oh shit, I can't actually refute his point, so he instead had to change the subject. Seeing how shit you are at argumentation, you should be grateful Blitzo is lower ranking. If he was any rank similar or above, he would embarrass the fuck out of you so hard, you'd have to order a hit on his ass. Anyways, after seeing Stolas embarrassingly try and change the subject, the arguments only go further downhill.
The one who tried to kill me and you couldn't be bothered to come help me. Remember him?
Wait a damn minute.
Literally in Murder Family, you were literally on the phone with Blitzo getting held at shotgun point by a literal lady from the upper world. You were on the phone and Blitzo didn't disconnect the phone, so you literally heard the entire conversation throughout. And instead of stopping to make sure he was okay or even trying to get help, you instead decided to talk about how much you were gonna do him in bed. Okay, so alright, here's the clip.
Huh? Come to drag me and my kin to hell. Well,
the best part is if you listen super closely, you can actually hear Stolas still talking while Blitzo is getting held at shotgun point. Look.
huh? Come to drag me and my kin to hell.
Throughout that entire scene where Blitzo is getting threatened with his life by this lady, and Stolas decides, instead of, hey, let me go help my lover or partner, Stolas instead decides, oh yeah, you know what? Let me just talk about myself while this is all going on. Yeah, Stolas, just like how you couldn't be bothered to help Blitzo when he was getting held at shotgun point against a murderous family, despite you being on the phone openly hearing it, right? Boo-hoo, Stolas, it really doesn't feel too good when the shoe is on the other foot, huh? Also, he gave you a very valid reason as to why he couldn't show up to save you.
I think you should come save me.
Oh shit, Stolas, I can't today. All right, I'm sorry, I'm literally on my way to take Luna in for her very important Helby's SHOT. Takes years to book an appointment at this place. Took 5 for me to get this one, so, you know, and she's been doing a lot of field work, so, you know, she needs it.
Oh, haha, well, I do agree, that is very important.
You need to shut the fuck up!
So you mean to tell me that Blitzo couldn't be there to save you because his own daughter needed an urgent medical treatment while making sure there was still help on the way? Remind me again what your reasoning was for not helping Blitzo when he was getting his life threatened? Oh wait, that's right. You were too busy bathing in the bathtub and talking about how much you were gonna fuck him. Gee, Stolas, it's almost like he cares about his adopted daughter more than you care about your own biological child. Way to use her as a meat shield to get get a one-up at your wife, and then immediately forget about her existence as soon as she turned 18. The most amazing part about this musical was Stolas unironically forgetting about Octavia's existence, which is hilarious considering that Stolas throughout his entire initiation of his divorce to Stella had mentioned Octavia because he wanted to, quote, have that girl have a better life.
The only reason I have endured your constant insults and cruelty was for that girl to have a normal life.
So it's honestly hilarious that you're going to have Stolas initiate this reasoning, but then not put any attention towards his daughter at all. Are you for real? Again, Blitzo literally had to tell you as the father of Octavia that she had gone missing rather than yourself noticing it.
Oh, your daughter came by, took your book, and teleported off to who the fuck knows where, and we have no way of getting either of them back, okay? Okay, good talk, bye.
With family members like that, who needs holidays? Gotta love how the writers had to have Blitzo respond to Stolas' ad hominem.
I do not sound like...
rather than having him rightfully rip Stolas' terrible arguments apart. Again, writers, you're not fooling anybody. Skipping ahead a little bit, the writers then have Stolas try and act like he somehow got a gotcha on Blitzo.
And I didn't know he was capable. I stopped him the first time, didn't I?
The first time? You knew someone was trying to assassinate me?
Yeah, Stolas, just like how you knew that there was a murderous family ready to kill Blitzo on sight, but did you make any attempts to try and go to the location where their lives were being threatened and attempt to help? No. So please don't try and complain now that you're getting a justified taste of your own medicine. I mean, at least Blitzo was willing to save your life against Stryker. You didn't help him against the murderous family, so please don't try and play this uwu victim game. Also, you literally heard your wife planning a hit on you directly at the dinner table.
Better not. I want this cheating prick dead. I don't care who you have to go through. Make it happen!
Understood.
I mean, there's being stupid, and then there's this. Also, if he were to tell you that someone was ordering a hit on you, what exactly would this stop? He beat you face to face in combat. What would this have stopped? Again, Stolas, with the amount of skeletons in your closet, it's amazing you try and get onto Blitzo for his meager chicken bones. All he's doing is giving you a simple taste of your own justified medicine, with Stolas then deciding to let his real personality slip out.
I suppose you are right. Silly me. It's not an imp's place to protect a Goetia, is it?
With Stolas then trying to spin this into him somehow being the victim in this situation.
And there it is. Took you long enough.
That's all you were waiting for, wasn't it? For me to play into this idea you have of me that I'm this prince who thinks he's so much better than you.
Shut the fuck up. God damn.
Again, this is literally Eric Cartman levels of mental gymnastics. Stolas, nobody forced you to make any of the statements you made. You said all of those things because that's what you genuinely believe. At least own it, dickhead. With Stolas then proceeding to perform the act of projection for the rest of his argument.
Well, I don't! Why would I allow everyone to see how much I like you?
Shut your fucking mouth!
Again, no person who has had self-respect for their partner repeatedly calls them demeaning names after being told to stop.
How I've tried so fucking hard to spend time with you, to support you.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
Yes, because refusing to defend your partner when he was getting dogged on at Aussies, as well as refusing to help him when he was getting his life threatened by a murderous family is definitely some support there, Stolas. Again, Stolas, it's blatantly evident that anyone can tell that you see Blitzo as a trophy or some sort of object rather than an actual partner.
You don't owe me those things, but you can't just ignore all that.
Yeah, Stolas, just like you can't ignore all of the fucked up shit you've done to Blitzo as well. But you're going to anyway because Stolas is always victim, a narcissist, never wrong at heart. So with that theme established, will the writers do what they finally have been anticipating? Will Blitzo grill Stolas about his shitty behavior towards him and have it raw? Nope, they'll instead waste all of this dramatic hype up on a stupid gay joke.
I spent the entirety of this morning listening to love ballads, and that was still the
Gayest thing I've heard all day!
Then shut the fuck up!
Ah, yes, writers. Why have dramatic hype up and intensified conflict when we can instead waste it on a gay joke? Jesus, writers, could y'all stop with these jokes? They're not productive to the story and let alone not even remotely funny. You could literally murder my own family and I would laugh faster at this. The scene then ends with Stolas once again projecting his own behavior onto Blitzo.
Do you feel any kind of remorse for what you do?
Shut up, bitch!
Gee, Stolas, do you feel any remorse for the way you've demeaned and unfairly treated Blitzo? Again, Stolas, stop projecting. Blitzo is an imp, not a theater screen. The scene then ends with Blitzo making an apology, if you can even call it that, when in reality there's nothing really for him to apologize for, when everything he's saying within the apology to Stolas is indeed correct.
You want me to be like, oh, sorry, this entire time I assumed the worst because I was convinced a prince could never love someone like me?
I do not see how Blitzo is in the wrong for assuming the worst in Stolas, as after all, you didn't save him from the murderous family, you repeatedly called him demeaning names when he told you to stop, and you sexually harassed him whilst on the job in front of your own literal daughter. Also, your relationship wasn't kept afloat as a result of genuine love, it was a result of you pestering Blitzo on the phone repeatedly while he consistently told you it wasn't a good time to talk.
Damn. Stolas, this is a really bad time.
When isn't it a bad time, Blitzy?
And then setting up this trade with the exchange being sexual flavors for the grimoire.
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time, Sound fair, my little imp?
I do not blame Blitzo for thinking this at all, as this isn't a relationship, this is prostitution 101. Again, Stolas, if you think Blitzo should quote-unquote apologize for his wrongdoings, then maybe you should as well, you narcissistic prick. The scene then shows Stolas accepting Blitzo's unnecessary apology.
Well, yes. That.
Whilst refusing to own up towards any of his other single-handed faults, because of course, that doesn't scream power dynamic at all. Again, writers, stop with this Stolas goody two-shoes narrative, nobody's buying it. Again, these scenes could be easily saved if the writers had Blitzo realize that Stolas isn't a healthy partner for him, and chose to find someone who's better whilst owning up to his wrongdoings. But again, they for some reason decided to shift blame onto Blitzo by making it seem as though he's the one who needs to be the only one to admit fault, when there's so many fucked up things Stolas has done and treated Blitzo with that Stolas still refuses to own up or take accountability for. So again, it's such a letdown for the writers to actually have a scene where Blitzo actually spits facts against Stolas, only to then later in the episode having Stolas escape all consequences for his misdoings, alongside having Blitzo be the one who's forced to endure his narcissistic abuse while being told by everybody else to let it go, as though he himself wasn't repeatedly put through the ringer for his misdoings, while Stolas on the other hand gets no consequences, despite him never even admitting a sliver of fault. Overall, this episode had such a promising beginning, with it unfortunately being tarnished due to its subpar, lackluster concluding scenes. Anyways, that aside, we then essentially cut to scenes of Blitzo going on his so-called apology run, which is blatantly obvious that these quote-unquote apology scenes are there to just pad out the runtime. Again, we don't even see Blitzo actually apologizing towards the people he's like actually genuinely fucked over, like Millie or Moxie. Like, why would you not show the couple that Blitzo repeatedly demeaned, stalked, and invaded their privacy multiple times? Like, again, why is Millie not on this apology list? Is she not a victim of this same exact treatment? Anyways, we then cut to the scene of Blitzo apologizing to the southern lady he killed, which I mean, aside from a pointless lesbian joke, we then jump cut to a scene of Blitzo apologizing to the secret agents and cherubs, which again proves my literal point made in the previous review about how the only reason Luna didn't outright kill these cherubs was to have them be used as filler characters to pad out the runtime for future episodes. This fight then ends with arguably one of the stupidest moves made by the antagonist character so far. This clip has to be the dumbest moment throughout this entire whole episode. Luna literally has no reason to actually try and keep the cherubs alive. There is no reason for Luna to kick these people back in the portal. Girl, you're able to touch them. You're able to have contact with them. What are you doing? Just kill them. There's no foreseeable reason as to why the characters would be kept alive other than for pure plotline. I mean, not that it wasn't obvious enough, but anyways, we then cut to a scene of Blitzo apologizing to the bouncer of Ozzy's for, I don't know, like what did he do wrong to him? Like specifically, he agreed to the dude's terms and brought a partner to the club, which I mean, I guess this scene does kind of indirectly show how Blitzo is somewhat in the wrong for using his usage of Stolas to get into Ozzy's club for the sole purpose of spying on Millie and Moxie, which does feel rather odd as to why the writers didn't have more of a motive to showcase Millie and Moxie's apologies. And y'all are literally showcasing scenes where Blitzo tried to fuck them over. But that aside, this scene does help to show how Blitzo does kind of have his priorities rather incorrect by apologizing to his bouncer of the club instead of someone he actually tried to somewhat fuck over like Millie or Moxie, which again, I'm not gonna say that Blitzo is some innocent complete uwu victim, but again, when you compare it to the misdeeds and mistreatment that Stolas has done towards Blitzo, this is like comparing a paper cut to a bullet wound. Anyways, we then of course cut to scenes of Blitzo apologizing to his quote-unquote exes, which I mean, you know, I guess aside from the scene involving Stolas kind of making me chuckle a little bit.
The one day a year the spirits can rise amongst the living, and it's spent celebrating mutual pettiness.
But that aside, we then of course get introduced to Verosika, which I do appreciate the new and improved look to her character, but that aside, Verosika more or less came across as more of a hypocritical petty asshole who just held on to a grudge against Blitzo instead of actually moving on productively with her own life for whatever the fuck reason. Again, the only real purpose that they're there for is to feed into Stolas' unfair victim mentality, and again, you can evidently see this in the musical because there are multiple times where Stolas acknowledges that he may have done certain wrongdoings.
Maybe there's something here for us to glean, for you to teach and me to try to learn. No, he's a motherfucker.
Lady, shut the fuck up!
Only for Verosika and Vortex to come in and act like he's in the wrong for acting this way, as though they were personally in the relationship witnessing what was going on, which again, they weren't. And the song shows it itself, as they literally ask Stolas if it meant anything, with Stolas then responding that it didn't mean anything.
I don't think you meant to hurt me, 'cause I don't think it meant a thing at all. Well, did it? No, not at all.
With them essentially acting as though they should just by default take Stolas' side, as though they know what went on in the relationship. Like, dumb fuck, it didn't mean anything to Stolas because this relationship has always been about sex and Stolas getting it at all costs.
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time, Sound fair, my little imp?
Again, as much as y'all want to be uwu victims, you're not. But nonetheless, that set aside, in the musical, I do kind of significantly notice Stolas' voice kind of straining in this song's notes, with it being a lot more noticeable in this one than it was in the last episode.
I let you get too close. Now I know, now I know, now I know exactly.
And obviously, while Stolas' voice actor is indeed a very talented Broadway singer, you definitely can tell the evident amount of difference as to just how much Broadway translates differently from singing in a studio to being out on a stage. Skipping that aside, we then of course transition to scenes of Stolas and Blitzo talking, with Stolas once again showing his narcissistic tendencies.
This was the final stop on the apology tour I've been on today.
Oh yes, I recall. Everyone but me is getting your cheap apologies tonight, Well,
can you shut the fuck up?
I mean, at least Blitzo's trying to apologize. Where's your apology for how you've been constantly mistreating him? Oh wait, right, you never gave him one because you're a narcissistic sociopath who always convinces himself that he's the victim. Again, if you can't ever admit your faults and apologize for your wrongdoings to others, then why should anyone return that favor, you jackass? Again, the rest of the combo is Blitzo pretty much bending over backwards for someone that wouldn't ever return the favor and drop him like a ton of bricks, which a little bit later after their conversation is exactly what proceeds to happen. It's literally just watching the polar opposite, painful version of Carmen and Heidi's relationship, which I think this clip really sums up their demographic the best.
If you always make yourself the victim, you can justify being awful.
The rest of the scene is just Stolas wallowing like a little baby about how he wants someone to love him and truly appreciate him and touch him, which again, the reason you don't have those things is completely on you. You decided to make this relationship be based on an exchange of sexual favors instead of actual love.
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time, Sound fair, my little imp?
Please spare us your crocodile tears, you little baby. The scene then ends with Stolas then deciding to shit on Blitzo instead of actually choosing to look openly at his mistakes.
The point is, I just want someone to care if I stay or go. I want someone to want me. You, why are you here? I don't want you here. Go home, please. Let me not feel so sad.
Oh, you gonna cry? Oh, don't cry, it'll look bad with your widow Captain Kangaroo haircut.
Because of course, when you think you've done something wrong, shift blame the other way. Skipping ahead a little bit, we then cut to Blitzo finally approaching Verosika Mayday, and Jesus, I thought Stolas was an egomaniac, but Verosika took it 100 times that level. The best part was watching Blitzo piss her off by simply just saying, hey, I broke up with you because as a partner in this relationship, I have that autonomous right.
Well, I'm sorry for always telling it like it is, sister. Well, I'm just being honest. I'm sorry for dumping you. Sorry for not falling head over heels for you.
Again, listening to Verosika is like listening to emotional gaslighting live on the scene.
Oh, poor Blitz. Finally having to own that his actions affect other people's fifis.
Lady, shut the fuck up!
Again, hilarious coming from a reject.
They let me out because I'm still famous, and rehab is for sad loser wash-ups. So your sister says hi.
Who also sexually assaulted Moxie along with her succubus crew.
Hello, Miss Verosika. I work for Imp. He's got a widow bow tie.
Please don't condescend me, ma'am.
Wanna kiss you, little guy?
A kind offer, but I'm married.
Why don't you send a little message from me back to your limp dick boss?
Don't touch that!
I gotta go lie down now.
Ah yes, the drug addict assaulter is gonna preach to us about actions affecting others.
Please just call me victim. I am not gonna do that.
Get the fuck out of here.
How do you think I felt when the fun guy I was dating decided to just bail on me because I made the shitty mistake of saying I love? It was the most embarrassing feeling to be vulnerable for once, and you really just know how to send a message in the shittiest fucking way. The worst part is you still make me feel like a bad person for being angry at you now.
Blitzo definitely could have worded his breakup probably better, but again, Verosika, the criticism of Blitzo being kind of toxic applies to you and everybody else at this party.
Way to go, Dennis. You fucking suck.
Yeah, you suck, Dennis.
Oh, what?
Oh, nothing. I was talking to myself.
Cool, man. I wish I was you.
You all have these sorts of toxic tendencies that you all refuse to work on. You just turn a blind eye when it doesn't support your narrative. And with the whole Blitzo bailing on you thing, while yes, that is definitely warranted some anger towards, he's not calling you a shitty person for that. He's calling you a shitty person because you're repeatedly holding it over his head and unhealthily obsessing over it to the point where you're not just harming him, but you're making digs and attacks towards other people that he's associated with. You're using it as an unhealthy justification to make digs at his sister.
They let me out because I'm still famous, and rehab is for sad loser wash-ups. So your sister says hi.
To make attacks at Moxie.
Wanna kiss you, little guy?
A kind offer, but I'm married.
Hey, why don't you send a little message from me back to your limp dick boss?
Don't touch that!
Moxie, don't let her access any of your holes!
I gotta go lie down now.
Oh, this won't stand!
That's what you're a shitty person for. Not you being angry or upset, it's you utilizing that and making it so that way you are allowed to use it as a way to harm others as well. That's what you're a shitty person for. That's what you need to stop. Whether you put all your feelings out there or not, as a partner in a relationship, your input matters just as much as your partner's. Blitzo, being the other partner in this relationship, has every right to end this relationship whether you give your genuine feelings or not. And again, if you truly appreciate someone and love somebody, then as a partner, you have to respect that decision whether you like it or not. It's a hard pill to swallow, but Verosika, swallow the damn thing and get over it. The scene then of course ends with Blitzo agreeing to change his behavior when again, literally nobody else in this party, when it comes to their screw-ups, agrees to change. So why the fuck is Blitzo the only one that needs to look at his errors and change for the better? Bitch, you've all done fucked up shit to other people. Anyways, that aside, we then conclude with Verosika acknowledging Stolas and his new partner, with Verosika after tone policing Blitzo's emotions.
Oh, that bird-stealing cockbat!
Hold it, Blitz.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Don't you ever tell Blitzo to hold it, you bitch. Were you there in the relationship? Did you witness what went down between Blitzo and Stolas as a whole? No, so shut the fuck up. Also, Verosika, weren't you the same person who said this?
The worst part is you still make me feel like a bad person for being angry at you now.
This you?
Oh, that bird-stealing cockbat!
Hold it, Blitz.
Oh, so you, Verosika, are allowed to be consistently angry at the potential mistreatment and misdoings of Blitzo as a partner, but Stolas, a partner that Blitzo used to be, Blitzo has no right to be mad at him for any possible misdoings or mistreatment he's been put through? Verosika, shut the fuck up and take that change and shove it up your ass, you bitch.
You know, if you want to change, it just starts with saying, good for him. Hope he gets laid.
This you?
Blitzo? I used to date.
Oh, Verosika, you're here.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
You can't even practice what you preach, dumbass. Ultimately, all in all, when it comes to Verosika and Stolas, they're insufferable narcissists who always have something to shift blame to or project their insecurities towards others. They're always saying, change for me, you've done something wrong to me, apologize to me, never think about the other party, and then gets mad when the other person doesn't do exactly what they can't even practice. Anyways, thank goodness this episode ends on a song note from Verosika, where they proceed to walk past a bunch of Blitzo's exes, which again, the writers expect us to act like Blitzo's completely fucked over every single one of these exes, but it's like, again, that's not how relationships work, as well as seeing how Stolas, Blitzo, and Verosika's relationship demographic were as well. It isn't at all logical to simply conclude with that sort of simplified viewpoint. So overall, this episode ends with Stolas getting away with his behavior and shitty treatment towards Blitzo, because of course, let's acknowledge all of the wrongdoing that Blitzo's done, but don't you dare do the same thing for Stolas. Again, this is ridiculous. But anyways, at least it's over. That painful journey finished. Let's establish my final thoughts.
My dog stepped on a bee.
This episode was nothing truly short of absolutely infuriating. To have Blitzo be forced to bend over backwards for others despite many of their requests being hypocritical, petty, self-centered, and in full refusal to acknowledge their own faults or misdoings was insufferable. And again, it's not like Blitzo doesn't have things to apologize for, but if that's the case, then the other side, Verosika and Stolas, should also be in their rightful willingness to also apologize for their faults as well. Like, this episode literally spells out the definition of narcissistic egomaniac gaslighting. Holy shit. So yeah, this episode was kind of frustrating, but hopefully in future episodes, the writers will maybe decide to clap back at Stolas and Verosika by giving them their own delightful, punishing taste of medicine, as well as maybe even having Blitzo try and find a new loyal partner for him to rock with in future episodes, as surely bringing in a new girlfriend or boyfriend character for Blitzo would most certainly be an interesting way to spice up future episode airings. But at the end of the day, all of that is simply my hope and desire. But anyways, nonetheless, that's going to conclude this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below your thoughts about this episode, as well as other future reviews I should do on this channel. But nonetheless, be sure to have a good day, and peace out, y'all.